So the whole street smelled like wine. But the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He made it gradual because it's a matter of addiction, it's not a matter of obedience. So that was mercy upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The things that for example, how much you pay in charity, how you pray. You know, before Islam, people would pray anyway. What do you think 360 idols around the Kaaba were? They were praying and doing things. So, you know, we just shifted to the correct worshipping and prayers to the one mighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When it comes to addiction, something that you physically are unable to, that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it gradual. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها. Another ayah, لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا ما أتاها. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would not burden a soul and mandate something upon you unless He knows that you can do it. And from that comes the mercy and the kindness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make it gradual. Inshallah, yes.
Are there any sisters that have questions?
One sister had I think there was like a comment on what he said. She said, I don't think we have the power to say what will happen to the suicide bombers. What they are doing is definitely wrong and against what Islam says. But they may not know any better. They are being tortured and living horribly every day. Only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the judge and knows what will happen.
Well, I mentioned the judgment as per Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, "Huwa fi an-nar." And one thing about being in hellfire, a lot of Muslims do not know that, is that when you enter hellfire, that doesn't mean that you're going to be there forever. Some people are going to get into hellfire, they're going to be tortured, and then when they pay whatever punishment that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had destined for them, they're going to be taken back, brought back to life, and then going into Jannah. This will happen. So, وَسِعَتْ رَحْمَتُهُ كُلَّ شَيْءٍ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's mercy encompasses everything. If people were deceived, if people thought that this is the right thing and they were truly making jihad and sacrifice for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and did this, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was mercy. But according to us, if someone does that, then according to Islamic law, according to the statement and the hadith of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then this will happen. And when I said that I said, if I condemn this one time, I condemn the Israeli occupation and what it's doing to the population a billion times over. And I said that to Jewish rabbis in debates. I said, more importantly, what kind of horrible living conditions that he can put someone in to actually think that he's doing the right thing by strapping himself with dynamite and kill himself. This is a function of the horrible living conditions that you're imposing on the Palestinians than any relevance to Islam or even the Palestinians themselves. Think about the hell that you're putting them through to make it such a good thing to do. Inshallah. Yes, ma'am.
Sorry. Brother, go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum. Could you clarify for us the incident of man and his burning of certain copies of the Quran? I think that's what sometimes people, even most Muslims are really confused about that.
All right. This was very easy. I want you to imagine. I'll give you an example. That we're a newly formed country. And then one government said that the dollars are this piece of paper. If you bring me this piece of paper, I'll give you $10 worth of whatever that buys. And then another government said, you know what, there's another kind of money. This is the other kind of money. So this is also $10. And so on and so on and so forth. Till it started to become a really unified, strong country. And they said, you know what, we want to have a one currency that is controlled by a central bank. So what we did, we decided that, let's say this is the dollar. So what do is that you compensate everyone, give me all the currency around, we're going to burn it down, and then we're going to print only the one currency that is approved by all. So they gathered the Quran itself. There's some saying that Abdullah ibn Mas'ud had a complete Quran, and Sayyidah Fatima had a complete Quran, but they were all the same. And there are also some parts that had parts of the Quran only written. They used to write it on pieces of skin, pieces of palm leaves, and things like that. So they gathered all the parts, all the other copies of the Quran. So there's only one copy that we all copy from and burn it down. Another problem also that happened, that Al-Quran was revealed ala sab'ati ahruf. What does that mean? There were 7 dialects that are known for the Arabs at the time. For example, the ayah that says laysa min al-birri. There was one dialect that the alif is not pronounced, so it would be pronounced laysa min birrin. The A is not there. And some people wrote it according to their own dialects. So that was accepted at the time. But when Islam spread and the Quran was revealed, then the decision was that the al-lahja al-qurashiyya, that is the way that Prophet Muhammad was saying it, is the way. So any other copy, they were all similar. Even the one with the different dialect, but The words are the same, and the meaning was the same. They gather them all, burn them all, so we have the one copy. And subhanallah, this is what preserved the Quran. I want people to have also a comparison so we understand when people say, oh, the Quran, this and that. The New Testament, which is the book of the Christians of today, is made out of Greek manuscripts. The Greek manuscripts are supposed to be similar. There are about 24,000 copies of them. So for example, somebody brings you Surah Al-Baqarah, and 100 people have 100 copies of Surah Al-Baqarah. And these are the manuscripts that the Bible is taken from. The variations and the differences between these documents is over 30,000 variations, of which is more than the words in the New Testament itself. And then people come to you and say, you know what? Osman ibn Affan, they burned a copy. And all of them memorized it verbatim, and all the copies were exactly the same, but they were scattered and in different forms. So he burned them and had one unified copy. That's why we call it Al-Mus'haf al-Osmani, and it's been there for 1,400 years. And it is the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and He is preserving it, inshallah.
I have a question in regards to the sixth pillar of Iman, al-Qada wal-Qadar.
Yes.
And I struggle to answer this question to many non-Muslims and even Muslims themselves. And the question is as follows. If Allah predestines everything, and everything is written في الصحف
الكتاب المبين,
how do we have free will to choose what we want if it's already predestined for us, and if it's predestined for us that we will do what we're going to end up doing, why do we even bother?
That's a very good question, and the answer is much simpler than you think. We need to understand the concept of Al-Kitab al-Mubin, right? And with that, before that, we need to understand the concept of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not have our limitations or our barriers. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not have a limitation of future, past, time, distance, anything. So before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala started the universe, everything that was to happen to that universe, He wrote it in a Kitab Mubin. The first khalq of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was not the universe or mankind, was the qalam. Whatever that condition of that pen is, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wrote everything. Every tree that will fall down from a tree, where and when and how, is written with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the millennia, in that universe. Every piece of sand, anything. Qada and Qadar is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wrote in that book about the outcome of what you're going to do. What you're going to do is up to what you do. Meaning that I have a rubber ball and I'm going to drop it on the stairs. You know, and I know it's going to wind up at the bottom of the stair and it's going to bounce on each step. I know the outcome, and I know that it's going to fall down step after the other, and it's going to come to a still position at the bottom of the stairs. To the rubber ball itself, it's bouncing according to its own elasticity and it's according to the physics of its own. And it's happening with the conditions around the time, the space, the distance, how big and how deep the stairs are. But the whole thing, the power to the ball, whoever created it, whoever created its elasticity and its ability to bounce, whoever created the stairs, and whoever knows what's going to exactly happen at the end of the stairs, that is the qada of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whatever it is up to you, your choice, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows the outcome and knows exactly how you're going to do it. وَمَا أَنَا بِظَلَّامٍ لِلْعَبِيدِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not be unjust to anyone. Everything is a function of your own choice. The outcome of that choice is known in advance to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's what it means. Yes. Did I answer it or?
Yeah. Mas, did you raise your hand?
Any events, meetings like this really remind me of how little I know about the Prophet ﷺ. My question to you is...
You speak up.
Oh, okay.
You can stand up.
No, it's okay. It just reminds me, like meetings like this, how I've gone to other meetings about the Prophet ﷺ and his amazing life, and it is. My question to you is, what advice would you give to me as a student? What is the best resource, book, or video, or site, or whatever?
Well, my best advice, I spent 2 years doing that. The good thing, alhamdulillah, and that's why I put in that format, that a whole correct biography of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ and the things that matter is right here. It's 400 pages. That book that I refuted is 200 pages. This is 400 pages. So it's all in here, but actually in a way that you know the biography of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, what happened, and also you know exactly the key points that they keep, lying and deceiving the American people about. So And if you don't have the time to read the book, and I urge you to read it, and if you have a young